Blog Talk Radio.
For the next 2 hours, WGS Radio will take control of your ears. For all the best news, views, and information, wrestling style, you're listening to WrestleDOWN.
This is Team Gooch, and we're in WGS, the best running wrestling and gaming radio show ever, only on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't like anything we say or do, 1, we respect your opinion. 2, fuck you.
Hi, I'm Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to... Fuck. Hi, this is Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to WrestleDOWN, the discussion on wrestling now, dick. And I love to sell crack to my homies. So keep listening to WrestleDOWN and get down with WrestleDOWN. And by the way, I love my crack.
WGS Radio is on air. How's everybody doing? Yes, it is me. I am back. The one, the only, Double B, Billy Boudreaux, back here on WrestleDOWN, the discussion of wrestling now. First of all, I'd like to thank Ashley for filling in for me the past week. Past week I was rather ill, and I could not make the show. So I'd like to throw out a big thank you to the Studley man, Ashley, for filling in for me on the past week. So we're going to go ahead. We got a lot to get to. We have a lot to discuss here, a lot to look at from Impact Wrestling, SmackDown, and Monday Night Raw. And we will be taking your calls. The way you can get in is to call in to 914-803-4615. That is 914-803-4615. You can also log into blogtalkradio.com/WGS Radio and call in via Skype. It is a free call, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you heard me right. It is a free call via Skype. You can also log into blogtalkradio.com/WGS Radio. Get into our chat room, and our chat moderator, which will be Ashley when he gets here on the show tonight, he will be him. And if you have any comments or questions, the Studley man Ashley will be reading your comments out loud for the sake of the podcast, and also on YouTube, where we always appear on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. So while we wait for the guys to go in, I'm going to go ahead and open up with a discussion topic for you guys and gals that are listening in right now, live here on Blog Talk Radio. Now, a video I posted out on YouTube not too long ago was a thought video, a topic video, and I am receiving messages that nobody can hear the show. I am not sure if that's true or not. Oh, hold on here. We're going to do a little live on here thing. Here I'm going to launch my chat window as I open up the chat room myself and try to find out just what exactly is going on with Blog Talk Radio. Okay, Hitman 3000 is in the chat room, and he says that he can hear the show. Am I correct, Hitman? Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Homicide Incorporated, the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, is on the line. Rev Jake, I'm receiving word in the chat room that people are having a hard time hearing me.
I can hear you, but I called in.
Yeah, you called in, but let me try to relaunch my chat room window here and try to find out what people can do. I think
now when I noticed that, I logged out of the switchboard just to make sure I wasn't the problem.
All right, Star Coyote says he can hear. For the guys that can hear in the chat room, please send out a message to the people who can't hear as of yet, and please tell them to. You have to refresh the show. Yeah, you have to refresh the show. Can you guys send out a message to those people in the chat room saying that they have to refresh their
Yes, we can.
refresh their show? Yes. So please do that for me, please.
I'm the Iron Reverend. That's me.
All right, now, while people refresh, let's go ahead and get to my first topic I'd like to discuss. I'm glad you're here with me, Rev, so we can talk about it. Now, growing up watching WCW, I was always a big fan of the cruiserweights, and the high-flying action here as we get more onto this topic. Welcome to Studley Man Ashley. Ashley, how you doing?
Doing good. Good to have you back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who can hear in the chat room, please send out a message right now to those who can't hear right now, and please tell them to refresh their page. Please tell them that. But anyway, also welcome WWE fan, the king of NASCAR himself, WWE fan. How you doing this week?
It's funny you say that because Monday Night Raw was at Indianapolis, and the race in NASCAR was in Indianapolis on Sunday.
All right, well, let's get back to the discussion, as I believe Nathan might be here now, too. Nathan, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Wow, I didn't realize that you had another Skype name, Nathan.
Oh, I don't. What's it showing up as?
A_.V.
That is my Skype name. That's my...
It brings up the Skype name rather than the name that's associated with it, the username, so...
Yeah.
All right, now, this is what I want to talk to you guys at first tonight here on the program, is the fact that, Rev already heard it, I was a big fan of the cruiserweights in the WCW when I was growing up. And well, I still can't get the topic off because now we got to welcome Andy. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, I think, after 20 refreshes and 1, 2, 3 internet browsers.
Thank you, Blog Talk Radio.
Folks, it doesn't work.
Oh, thank you for that, because that's what I'm on right now. And also welcome James. James, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm back from my conference, and unfortunately, my phone went into the hot tub. So I was.
Right. If there's any more people call in, after Billy finishes his point, we won't address them until Billy's finished his point. So Billy, you go on ahead with your point about the cruiserweights.
All right. Now, here's something I've always wondered: would WWE benefit from reopening a cruiserweight division? Think about the guys they have in there right now. We have Sin Cara when he comes back from his suspension. We also have Evan Bourne, Daniel Bryan. We got guys like Justin Gabriel, Heath Slater, who are right around that 220-pound mark for cruiserweights. So, would it be beneficial for them to reopen or try to reestablish a cruiserweight division? I would think so myself, because personally, the cruiserweights were always an exciting brand of wrestling in WCW. Always an entertaining brand. And, it gave guys like Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Dean Malenko, La Parca, and guys like them a spot, not only in WCW, but a spot where they can not only fit in with the WCW programming, but to also fit in with the wrestling company, period. Now, look what's happening, what we got now in the WWE nowadays. I mean, we got guys like Evan Bourne, who's extremely talented, but yet he doesn't exactly have a spot-on winning record, if we can call it that, in the WWE. The main reason they use him, because, yes, he is exciting to watch, but the downside to it is they mostly use him to job to other people in the company, like R-Truth or other people I can think of, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. But if the WWE had their own cruiserweight division again and have a spot, whether it be on Raw, SmackDown, or even WWE Superstars for that matter, because that product on YouTube has been getting very good as well. But if they have a spot on at least one of their shows, they can actually showcase their talents. And I would believe it'd be very beneficial. They could start on Superstars, and if it's if they get a good rating from the crowd, if it goes over well in the crowd, then I would think that they can move it up, bump it up to Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. But I, for one, think it would be very beneficial. I think it would be really entertaining and possibly a good move if WWE could bring back a Cruiserweight division. And what I want to know from you guys right now is, what are your thoughts on it? Ashley, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it makes the most sense to do it, because there's this rumor that's been going ever since you've seen the unification of the tag titles and the /women's titles, that the other two were going to go as well. You'd see a unified US Intercontinental champ, and then a definitive undisputed WWE champion. But then that, of course, means you've only got 4 belts in the company, which means if you did a card like Night of Champions, that's only 4 matches on the card. For a 3-hour show, that's pretty lackluster, considering every match is supposed to be a championship match. So in that sense, it'd be worth bringing back something like the Cruiserweights, because not everybody is going to be heavyweight material. Well, Rey Mysterio was an exception, possibly because of the Eddie Guerrero situation, but that means, as you said, Sin Cara's open to it. John Morrison might actually get a title again. People like Mysterio could have a final go with a swan song. But then you've also got people like Bryan, who I don't think really fits into the title picture just yet, who can probably gain experience in a company as big as WWE, and then move on to, bigger and better things with the world title down the line.
True.
Welcome, Star Coyote, to the show. Star, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing great.
What are your thoughts about... Well, Liam, let me ask you this. Your thoughts about what we just talked about, with the possibility, do you think it would be a good move for WWE to possibly bring back a Cruiserweight division?
Would it be a good move? Yes. Could they actually do it in function? It's a completely different matter altogether, because let's look at what they've done with the Cruiserweight division that they had. They just massacred it into oblivion, and it went nowhere. And actually made a video on YouTube giving a rant on why they should do it, and gave examples such as The Rocket, Scott Phoenix, and gave good examples of indie wrestlers that can make it. However, I do have a problem with that, and that is, what exactly are they going to do in the WWE? They sadly cannot do anything with talented wrestlers they already have. So where exactly are they going to go? You're going to send their career into a career suicide, because while the WWE can pay them immense amount of money and give them all the leeway they want, sadly they have such talent that it's going to be wasted. I mean, look at Evan Bourne. He's a prime example. Bryan Danielson, another example of an indie wrestler that came out of the indies and been jobbed the shit out of. I mean, look at what they've done with Bryan Danielson. Look at what they've done with Evans. And you want to
But here's the thing, though. That's the main thing. They can't do anything with these guys because they don't exactly have a weight class division for them. And so it's sad that their talents, because these guys are indeed very talented, Stark, but their talents are going to waste because they're telling these guys that, just because Vince McMahon loves the bigger guys, because we all heard that, he loves the bigger guys, but they're telling him to, even though you are very talented, you're going to job to this person or you're going to job to that person, and that's what your role in the company is. My beef is, if they bring back a Cruiserweight division, it'll give guys like Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, or like Evan Bourne, guys a chance to have their spot in the company and a place for them to shine.
Do you really think they're going to be able to get it out with such force, with such presence within the company that, say, someone like Cena without the other heavyweights won't overshadow it, because that was happened in the early 2000s. They're overshadowed by the heavyweights.
Well, think about it this way. In the early 2000s, the only reason why WWE created a light heavyweight division was to try to compete with WCW's Cruiserweight division, which we were all in agreement that's failed. I mean, it failed worse than Gohan's Backyard Wrestling.
True.
But yeah, just before we jump to, I think we'll go with Andy next. I noticed Hitman is, well, we got the chat room open with Hitman and Ray with a guest in there as well. Hitman says, I think a Cruiserweight division return would be great for these guys. Reason being, I can't see some of the Cruiserweights becoming huge stars. However, the Cruiserweight title gives them their time to shine and shows that they can possibly become big stars, and this gives us a chance to finally see Sin Cara versus Mysterio. And Hitman saying that he saw Mysterio Sin Cara in a match at a house show in a battle royal on YouTube, and that they did great against each other.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Andy, your thoughts?
Stark, let's go to Andy and get his thoughts. Andy, what are your thoughts about the possibility of WWE bringing back a Cruiserweight division, and do you believe it would be a good idea to have that back in the company?
Yes and no. Yes, I believe they need some other kind of belt, but they've ridiculed the Cruiserweight belt to such a degree that they've dropped it altogether, basically saying it's not worth the metal it's made out of. So I can't see them resurrecting it. As for people keep saying, Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio, Evan Bourne, they're just going to have to suck it up and see. Shawn Michaels made it from a Cruiserweight to win the big title belt, so they're just going to have to suck it up and see. Unfortunately, I don't think the WWE have got the time or inclination, and another problem would be they would have to have all the smaller wrestlers on Raw, because they wouldn't put the Cruiserweight belt on SmackDown, of course, because it's not a big brand, so they would put it on Raw, so all the favourite wrestlers would end up going to SmackDown. So
Andy,
again, it wouldn't work.
Can I touch up something on you said? Are we all in agreement that when WWE dropped the Cruiserweight title, when he had it on Hornswoggle of all people, would it be safe to say that the reason why they dropped that Cruiserweight title is they, at that time they just didn't have the talent for the Cruiserweight title and a Cruiserweight division?
I disagree, because how long has Rey Mysterio been in? He's been in well over 10 years, and he was there then.
Rey Mysterio for something else at the time.
And Morrison was there then.
But did they have enough talent for a full division?
They've got the talent there. Whether they're going to resurrect the belt after they've ridiculed it, I mean, you've just said it yourself. They gave it Hornswoggle. They can't lower the belt any lower. They might as well give it to a fan on the front row who's paid $30 for a ticket. They've lowered it as low as they can. They've shat on it, and then they're going to try and resurrect it, and it just isn't going to work.
I honestly think back in that
the
time,
wrestlers are there
was too many titles.
Really?
Now you've got to the situation where there's two. Now you've got to the situation where there's too few titles, in my opinion, and
I think it's not so much of a lack of talent. It's a lack of know-how how to run a division like that. See, back in WCW, Dean Malenko, I think, put it best. Dean Malenko had said, it was guys like Hogan and Macho Man and Kevin Nash that brought the guys in. But it was the Cruiserweights that kept them there, because they knew how to put on great shows. And they knew, they were very exciting. People loved them. I think what it is you got guys who were in the Cruiserweight division, now they're running around in the Heavyweight division, because you got to remember, Chris Jericho got his start in the Cruiserweights, and he turned out to be the first undisputed champion. So, I mean, it's definitely not due to a lack of talent. I just think they just don't know how to use the guys that they do to run a division like that.
Do you know what I think the biggest problem is with the Cruiserweight, and I don't know if anyone will agree or disagree, but I'd like to hear other people's opinion. The likes of, I'm not going to pick on the guys, but the likes of Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara do Lucha Libre wrestling. which is a style either people like or dislike. Most of the English or British wrestlers, or American wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, are not used to that style. They might have wrestled in Mexico, they're not used to that style, and unfortunately, people like Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, Evan Bourne, Morrison are injury prone because of the high risk manoeuvres they do. Unfortunately now, they are what we would call cruiserweights. Would Vince or anyone in the company want to risk their cruiserweight division injuring each other by doing high-flying moves, aka the Hardys, tables, ladders and chairs, going well over the top, injuring each other, unable to fight consecutively week after week? You'd see the Hardy Boys do a tables, ladders and chairs match and then wouldn't see him for 3 weeks. That's why I don't think the division will work. Us, the fans, are expecting Rey Mysterio jump off the top rope, do stupid things. If he calms it down, yes, bring a cruiserweight back. If he carries on the way he is, no, because too many cruiserweights are going to get injured, and there'll be nobody to fight for a belt.
2 things about the Rey Mysterio thing. One, I don't think he can do it like he used to anymore because, 1, age, and 2, the multiple knee surgeries that he's had. That's really slowed him down. Because if you notice his ring style and his performance as of late, we don't see that kind of high-flying style that we're used to seeing back in his days in WCW. He can't pull off that stuff anymore.
He's put his body through that much crap over the last few years that because the WWE fans expect it, that's what we're going to expect with the cruiserweight. And if you become a cruiserweight in the world of wrestling, what you're going to have 5 years and your knees are completely cake old.
But also, I think another point is how wrestling has changed over years, because you could have technical, matches that last an hour and go to a draw like they've had in NWA and ECW, most notably. But now, if you look at quite a lot of wrestling, it's spot heavy. It's all about those moments that, that make the highlight reel that they show at the end of the match. Like when, let's say, take the Royal Rumble from this past year, when Morrison managed to jump on the barricade and jump back in, and then, Del Rio doing his finisher or whatever. It's just looking for those spots rather than actual technical wrestling, which might have affected that, and that's why the cruiserweight or the cruiserweight equivalents get injured so much.
I was wondering, Andy, I don't want to be rude, but I want to try to get everybody's opinion on it. I was wondering if it's all right if we go to Rev and get his thoughts on it.
You know what I would like to see? Yeah, I miss the cruiserweights, the light heavyweights. I don't think Vince is ever going to bring it back because, Vince is still in charge, okay? We know what's going on. But I would Rey Mysterio, okay, great light heavyweight, great. But I'm tired of seeing him in main events at WrestleMania for, the heavyweight title. I would like to see Evan Bourne, Sin Cara, and those guys, guys that you can actually say are cruiserweights are getting misused every week now. I'd like to see their contracts expire and see all of them in an Ultimate X Battle Royal match with, the Motor City Machine Guns and those other 2 brothers. And, I'd like to see them in the X Division. I think they'd be used much better in TNA than they're being misused now in WWE.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the WGS Hardcore Superstar of the Year. It's Trucker Jones. Trucker, how you doing?
How's it going, Billy?
One of the main topics we're talking about right now, Trucker, is, would it be beneficial for WWE to bring back a cruiserweight division to their company? I was wondering if you could give us your thoughts about that.
It would be nice to see, but I don't think they'll do it. I would like to see it because they'll make more of a competition with TNA's X Division, and as far as bringing in stars from that aspect, but I don't see WWE doing that anytime soon because they rather the steroid jacked up freaks.
Yeah, Vince McMahon likes his big guys. We know that.
But he likes anything big, especially when it goes in his ass.
Let's go to James. James, what are your thoughts about a possibility of a cruiserweight division coming to the WWE? James?
No.
Okay, let's go to WWE fan. WWE fan, what's your take on it? What do you believe about, would it be a good thing for the company to have a cruiserweight division again?
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
I think this would be an interesting time to promote the fact that people can get in on give their opinions on it by one of three ways.
Exactly. One, you can call it to 914-803-4615. That's 914-803-4615. You can also log into blogtalkradio.com, so it's WGS Radio, and call in via Skype. It is a free call, ladies and gentlemen, via Skype. You can also log into the chat room on blogtalkradio.com, so that's WGS Radio, and you can get your chat comments in, and our chat moderator, the Studley Man Ashley, will read your comments out loud for the sake of the podcast.
Actually, we've got an interesting other comment from Hitman saying that he used to agree with the idea of, if you aren't being used great in the WWE, try going to TNA. And looking at TNA and looking at how they're treating some of their stars, reportedly Jesse Neal was actually being paid on food stamps, according to reports. He'd rather say that, reportedly, yeah. That's how much in financial trouble the company is. Hitman says he'd rather be in WWE and be treated like crap, but at least get paid a good amount, than go to TNA, still be treated like crap and get, paid very little, if at all.
Wow. James, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, James, what are your thoughts about, would it be a good idea for WWE to bring back a cruiserweight division to the company?
It would be a good idea, but I don't see it happening because I think the WWE feels like the X division in TNA or Impact Wrestling or whatever the heck they want to call themselves now. It's not really a competitive thing to have a cruiserweight division. I mean, it's a good idea. It's just that they don't feel like it's competitive to, bring back.
All right, Nathan, what about you? What are your thoughts about a cruiserweight division back in the WWE?
Like I said, I just don't think WWE knows how to run that type of division. I think even though Vince has a great business mind, I think he's kind of lacking on the whole talent thing. He's stuck in the 80s and the 90s. I'd say like the really early 90s. WCW was way ahead of its time when they brought in guys like the cruiserweights, because they were high flying, they were fast paced. You didn't see that in the light heavyweight division at all. Like, yeah, you saw some guys who were jumping off the ropes and stuff, but it wasn't to the same point that it was in WCW with the cruiserweights. And I don't think Vince really gets it. I don't think he really knows how to pull that kind of division off. I don't know. I don't think he knows where to pull the talent from. I think it was just a botched attempt to be able to try to compete with the cruiserweight division, and he never could.
Just before we go to our new caller, I noticed that Andy said that bring back grappling matches.
Hey, Rocket, you there?
Hang on.
Rocket.
We've got it on screen call, so just give me a second. There you go. He's on the air now.
All right. Now, Trucker, I want you to remain calm. But right now, I have on the line is the GCW heavyweight champion, The Rocket. Rocket, how you doing tonight?
Shut up, fat boy.
Yes, sir.
I want to know who the damn idiot is that was trying to tell us that McMahon don't know what the hell he's doing. That is just, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. You got this kid that probably don't know his asshole from a hole in the ground in Mamou, Louisiana, that's going to sit here and try to tell me that Vince McMahon don't know what the fuck to do with cruiserweights? Are you serious? He don't know where to pull the talent from. I don't have a job. I work at Burger King. That's just fucking, are you serious? What the hell kind of people you got on your damn show? And then I find out, you invite me on the show, and then I find out that Trucker Jones is on the show. Really? Seriously?
Well, just get your ass off then if you want to make
hold on, excuse me.
All right.
Reverend Jake Slater, at this time, I'd like to interject two things. New to our chat room, the lady with the penguin, Pegasus, is in our chat room. I'd like to introduce you all to my next ex-wife. And two, anybody that comes on the show and tells Billy to shut up,
it wasn't me.
Be on the show.
Well, lady with a penguin? Anyway, Rocket, what we were talking about is, would a cruiserweight division be beneficial and a great move for the WWE to have that division back in the company again?
No.
You don't think it would be a good idea?
No. And for the record, if Vince McMahon was in the 80s and the 90s, as Genius said and stated, then wrestling would be a whole hell of a lot better off. It is not stuck in the 90s or the 80s for that matter. Wrestling is stuck in the 2011, and it sucks ass.
Wow.
And what's
you just
better
all
than
over Hulk
anything...
Hogan's dick just like Vince. Be quiet.
Yeah, they need characters like that. They got plain old boring people who go by their name, such as, I don't know, Brian Fitch. Can you imagine if a guy by the name of Brian Fitch, just say, for example, Brian Fitch versus who God knows who. Well, there's no excitement to that, dude. Look, it all goes back to the classic. If I want to watch wrestling, per se, then I'm going to watch a high school or a college wrestling meet. People want to be entertained. Give them characters like the Blue fucking Blazer or Honky Tonk Man, or give them a damn character. If I want to watch wrestling, I'm going to go watch wrestling. There's nothing wrong with the high flyers per se, but I don't think that there should be a whole damn division created with them. If they can win like that, great, put them in, let them win. If they can't, go the hell home like everybody else. Buy tickets to watch me perform,
Yes, and also, to bring that up, he's, the Rocket, Trucker Jones, and a whole host of others will be in Mamou, Louisiana, August 13th. Am I correct in saying that?
No, you're not correct. It's September the 10th.
September the 10th, okay.
Yeah.
Billy always got to screw shit up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And
can I say something? Can I say something? Though?
Yes, you are the champ.
I do want to say this. Trucker Jones hit me harder in Abbeville, dished out more punishment than I have ever received in my entire wrestling career. I will say that. I will give him that, but that's only because I trained him. So
you trained me.
We
worked together. You didn't train me. Get it right. We worked together.
Yeah, well,
we held multiple tag team championships.
Thank you, Rocket.
All right, as we lead off from one awkward moment to the next, let's take a look at Impact Wrestling. And, Champ, Rocket, I wonder if I can start with you. If you had the opportunity to witness Sting's new gimmick in Impact Wrestling, this, quote, Joker Sting, what are your thoughts about that?
You must think that I watch wrestling. I have the slightest idea. Look, if it's not pertaining to me in one of my multiple championships, I don't give a rat's ass, okay? I don't watch TNA or whatever it's called now. I sure as hell don't watch WWE, should be F, whatever. Let's talk juice. Let's talk real wrestling. Let's talk GCW. Let's talk LCW. Let's talk old school. Let's talk real wrestling. All that bullshit up north and oh my, you making me sick. I'm about to vomit. Oh God.
Rocket. I want you to do me a favor, and this is a huge favor.
Shut the
Next
fuck up.
GCW
That's what I
show,
want you to do.
I want you ringside for me and Scotty.
What's going on with you and Sky?
Because you're going to find out who's going after your title for the next show.
That's hilarious. So, it doesn't matter who's going after my title. Same results. But, Billy, to kind of give some respect, to you, Billy, and what you're trying to say, I assume Sting looks like the Joker now. Is that what you're telling me?
It's kind of the new gimmick he's going with. He's kind of, going from being the icon in Impact Wrestling to the insane icon. I mean, his face paint is all messed up now, and he's just going around and, he's singing to people at some points. He's laughing at other people in the face, and whenever he's put someone in the Scorpion Deathlock maneuver now, he's kind of, we'll attest to this. He's kind of laughing at the same time, isn't he, actually?
I wonder if this is a transformation to the old Sting. Is that the end result of this?
Rocket brings up a good point. Could we be transitioning to the original Sting from the 80s, actually?
Before he ends it all, I think maybe.
That's what he should do. That'd be nice to see.
Ashley, what do you think? All right, Ashley has muted his mic. Rev, I know that you're a big watcher of Impact Wrestling, mostly for the Dancing Horrors. But what do you think about this? Could we be seeing a transition from Crow Sting through Joker Sting to original Sting from the 80s?
I don't think we're going to necessarily see the original Sting from the 80s, but I think you could see just like Steve Borden.
Steve Borden?
Yeah, I think maybe he'll just come out as, like himself. It's like, okay, he went through the rock and roll 80s Sting, the Crow Sting, now he's the Joker Sting. I think before you see him finally retire, you're going to see him as Sting, but just Steve Borden, no makeup and stuff, no Joker, no Crow. I also think if the Rocket and Trucker Jones don't stop airing their dirty laundry on our show, that Homicide Incorporated, being Nick Bondage and myself, are gonna put you boys in your place.
You think I
in
give
the
a shit
ring
about doing
in
bondage?
New Iberia, Louisiana.
Trucker, can I ask you a quick question? What do you thought about my
no.
my little?
I know. Do you think I give a shit about him and Nick Bondage?
Well, you
I don't
should.
give a rat's ass about them.
Oh, come on, you should. I just
He
became
can't
friends
hang
with
on
you
me
on
with
Facebook.
me. And then they want me and Rocket? Are you smoking crack?
Oh, wait. You know what? One, I'm not smoking crack, and two, you're right. That's really not fair. You and the Rocket against me and Nick. Maybe you should go get 2 or 3 more people for your team.
And
then it'll be fair.
As we go to that, actually, when we saw the gimmick of Sting being, quote, the new network executive, did you believe that, one, that they were actually going to go through with this on this storyline, or two, that you only thought it was to be a one-night thing, which it actually turned out to be?
He did it with such the persuasion and swagger, but it could have been, he could have been a network exec. But they did it in such a way so it's like, he's so crazy, he actually thinks that he's a network exec, even though he wasn't.
And now to Andy. Now, since Destination X, we saw the acquisition of Austin Aries. Now, Austin Aries is, indeed a great talent. I've seen some of his work in Ring of Honor. He is indeed a good talent. But what do you think of, the confrontation he had with Alex Shelley and Brian Kendrick over the quote, his conduct as of late, or the way he's been using him? Or two, what are your thoughts about the way he's actually being used so far in Impact Wrestling?
I honestly don't think anybody in Impact Wrestling's being used as much as they should be. They're just emphasising on the old guys, the Hulk Hogan's, Ric Flair's, Sting. They want to rely on the new guys. They're the future. I'm just sick of seeing the old guys taking the limelight. Really am sick of that. The other guy, the new guys, just haven't got a look in. The only person that's got a look in is AJ Styles, but that's because he's so far up the company. He makes everybody in the company bleed.
All right, and well, we did see. Back to you, Rev. We saw a really great match featuring Brian Kendrick and Abyss. But a lot of people say it was sloppy and stuff like that. But it had a very entertaining finish, if I do say so myself, Rev. With Kendrick being set up for the choke slam, and then on his way up, he grabs the title belt and he pulls it on the way down, winning the match. Barring the actual match itself and just focusing on the way they finished the match, do you think that was a good finish?
Any finish in the X Division that gives one of the smaller guys, because like I said earlier, I associate the X Division with like high-flying cruiserweight, which Abyss is not. I would rather see one of those small, high-flyer, fast-moving guys with the X Division belt like this. I mean, Abyss should be going for like the heavyweight title or whatever other titles they have in his weight category.
All right, final recap on Impact Wrestling this week. We had a opening segment involving Hulk Hogan and Kurt Angle. Then we had RVD defeating Gunner, Sting announcing he was the new network executive. That was only for that one night only. Then we had the confrontation between Austin Aries, Alex Shelley, and Brian Kendrick, which was announced at Hardcore Justice this Sunday. It'll be a three-way dance for the X Division title. It's going to be Austin Aries, Alex Shelley, and Brian Kendrick. Crimson defeated Bully Ray in a Bound for Glory Series match. Winner defeated Tara. Brian Kendrick defeated Abyss in the Ultimate X match. And in the main event, in the Steel Cage match, it was Kurt Angle over Mr. Anderson, which we saw at the end. Again, another awkward confrontation. I don't know if you guys would agree with me on that. Kurt Angle and Sting. Match of the night for me, guys and gals, it's really hard to pick, but just based on the finish of the match, not the whole match in itself, because the whole match was, it was lackadaisical in a way, but the finish was very exciting. I'm going to give it to Brian Kendrick and Abyss in the Ultimate X match. Ashley, your overall thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week?
Overall, mixed bag of a show. I don't think any match deserves match of the night, to be honest, because they all had strengths and weaknesses. The ending was kind of novel for the Ultimate X match with Kendrick and Abyss, but I thought overall that match was not as good as it could have been. So overall, average show, probably reflects in the ratings. Not great ratings for the show, but on a par with what they've done in previous weeks, so I guess that's a positive for them.
All right, Mr. Trucker Jones, did you have the opportunity to watch Impact Wrestling this week, sir?
No, I did not.
All right, well, let's go to Rev Jake next. Rev, what are your overall thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week?
Well, like I said, any TNA is always better than any WWE.
Good point there. And well, let's go to WWE fan. WWE fan, what are your overall thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week?
It was a pretty good show.
Any match stick out to you as being the best match of the night for you?
Not really.
Andy, what are your thoughts about Impact Wrestling this week?
I didn't think it was too bad a program. Only thing I can say is I think Impact Wrestling pays a bit more than GCW.
Let's go to James. James, what are your your overall thoughts? I keep saying final. I don't know why. Your overall thoughts on Impact Wrestling this week?
Well, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but when I got home, I got to watch it, and I'd say the match that stood out to me would be the Steel Cage match. I'm just wondering what kind of angle they do it now with Anderson in the middle.
Star Coyote, you're the last one. What are your overall opinion, your final thoughts on Impact Wrestling?
Well, actually, I haven't watched the show this week, so I can't really tell you. But the pay-per-view of Destination X, I can tell you. I think it was an okay pay-per-view. There was nothing that stood out to me, sadly.
Chat room wise. Oh wow, I'm just looking at, we've got quite a few people in the chat room. Lance Nightmare, I noticed in the chat room. Pegasus, as mentioned by Rev and Ray Rules, including a guest as well. We actually have quite a few guests, so greetings to them. Lance Nightmare puts, Sting was an awesome character. It's one of the few characters that they can remember from the early years when watching wrestling, but they ruin the character by making him completely untrustworthy. Someone that turns on his team basis is something that they don't want to see. Also, I believe Hitman put a point as I scroll down. TNA just needs to have maybe one or two older guys. Hitman would personally choose Sting and Angle, and the rest of the guys, he just wants to see the younger guys possibly get their push. Lance Nightmare then adds as well, for his choice for 2 seasons, he'd actually choose Angle, but he'd also choose Chris Jericho, given that he is a free agent. Technically, he could go to TNA, but I think he's already got ties pretty deep with WWE as it is. Anyway, but he says Jericho and Angle.
But the real question is, would he go?
I doubt it. I think he's got too many ties with
WWE.
WWE, yeah. Although it's that seniority of certain wrestlers that distinguish them from the rest of the pack. It's some... please bring in it, scroll down. No! Hang on. Oh, stop typing. You're just doing it on purpose to annoy me now. It's something that actually adds and not detracts from the show to have the seniority of the certain wrestlers. I certainly agree there, Lance.
Well, I will agree with Lance on one certain thing, that, you know, if Jericho would go to TNA, it would be a big up to the locker room, because it would have a very experienced guy in Jericho for them to go to and get advice from, you know, get help with, you know, because I believe Jericho is that kind of guy that, you know, like you can go to and say, you know, hey, you know, what do you think I need to do better to better help my character? And Jericho's been through, he's been everywhere. And, you know, he's been in Japan, you know, he's been in ECW, WCW, WWE, he's been everywhere, and I believe that he would be that kind of a guy to kind of lead the locker room in a sense. Mr. Trucker Jones, would you agree with that?
I'm not too sure. Because from what I understand, Jericho's a prick, but from what I understand, it'll be a definite blow to WWE, but other than that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I believe that
Jericho drinking son of a bitches at TNA.
Yeah, but I believe that the main drawback about it is I believe that Jericho, again, as Ashley pointed out, has, you know, too many ties into the WWE, and I think he's, you know, extremely loyal to Vince McMahon and the WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, for him to jump ship and go to TNA and Impact Wrestling and stuff like that. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take our break for the hour. When we come back, Sheamus is a face?
What? Now I'm confused. We're having a 10-minute break? What?
It's not going to be a 10-minute break, Ashley.
Oh, but, I thought if you want to fill up something to the rest of the hour, there's a couple of stories about stalking.
Okay, we can do that. We can
do
that.
Stalking and women that I want to talk about.
Yeah, we can do that.
Very
Go ahead.
crazy story that cropped up at the start of this week. Maurice is being stalked. Don't worry, it isn't by Andy, it isn't by Rev. It's by some...
It's by me! No, it's not.
It's by some 61-year-old man by the name of Lee Silder, I believe his name is. And he's been sending tweets and endless phone messages. My question is how he got Maurice's phone number in the first place. Who knows? But sending everything saying that isn't the kind of music we really need to play on this because this seems messed up. We don't want to get his hopes up because I think he's just a sick fuck. He's desperate to prove that they're friends. He wants to give her a $20 million value 100-carat diamond ring.
What?
And then he wants to take her to heaven.
Oh, God.
And he'll see her in Los Angeles. And apparently he has loads of oil fields and stuff and is worth like $500 million.
And oil fields ain't nothing.
Think of all the expensive prostitutes you could get for that money rather than Maurice. That's quite a lot. You could have more prostitutes than Hugh Hefner has at the Playboy Mansion. Oh, shit.
No, this guy is obviously crazy because for $100, I'll be his friend and he can just take me to Walmart. I'm easy, man.
I can only imagine the amount of Viagra that dude would have to consume to take Maurice to heaven. I mean, just one pill, next thing you know, he's going to hear.
All these messages, though, I've actually checked on the Twitter page for him. I think his page is Lee777 Heaven or something. I'll have to, if you want to look at it, you can, but there's some it's just endless messages to Maurice. Maurice, please call me. I am a wealthy man. It sounds like one of these, like, Nigerian scammers, except it's probably real, and it's probably sick. And in other female wrestler news, George Clooney. The
Wait.
lucky.
Wait, you say more female wrestling news, and then you say George Clooney.
Yeah, but George Clooney is the receiver of the female wrestler, possibly. According to reports, he is currently going out. Get ready for the porno music.
Kelly.
No.
Worse.
Vicky Guerrero.
Worse.
Mae Young.
No, not as bad as Vicky, but...
May's hand.
Okay, here's a clue. Out of all female wrestlers, valets, past and present, who would you most likely to get a venereal disease from?
Oh, God.
Sable.
And Mike Knox in the chat room is the winner.
Mike Knox is here, but be sure you guys check out his show, the best damn show on radio. He's a really good show, guys. Be sure you check him out too.
Mike Knox gets it right. It's Stacy Keebler.
Oh, wow.
She'll suck anything.
Oh, God.
Yeah, reportedly she is hanging out at his Italian home and whatever.
Handy, let's get it right. She'll suck anything with a dollar bill on it.
I think she should have NASA tattooed on her ass and sit on my space shuttle.
Oh,
God.
I'll take it to space.
Just be thankful she doesn't suck Smurf, Billy.
Oh, thank you very much for that.
Just in case you're also wondering and want to see a crap version of WrestleMania, NBC is showing 30 minutes of WrestleMania on NBC coming up later this month.
Don't they always do that type of shit?
Yeah,
say that again.
Really stupid. Really stupid.
And, this goes out to anybody that goes out and actually watches this stuff on NBC. You get this. Excuse me.
Yeah, but it's only going to have Hulk and The Rock in it, isn't it? If they're going to show the best of WrestleMania.
The best of WrestleMania is 27.
27.
Oh, I was going to say, if they can show the best of WrestleMania, the only people that they seem to like is the Rock and Hulk.
It's the best of WrestleMania 27, but all matches are set to music, so you don't actually get the commentary.
I want to press the button now.
That could be quite interesting.
Oh, don't worry.
Some matches need a bit
in a minute,
help.
Rev, but there is an interesting thing which I want to carry over to the break and get people's thoughts on this. In the current issue of WWE Magazine, there is a featured article for the upcoming Vengeance pay-per-view. And it goes like this. On October the 23rd, vengeance rises from the grave in the form of an all-new pay-per-view. What better time and place for The Undertaker to make his return to a WWE ring? After all, it was a year and a day to the date that the Dead Man lost the Buried Alive match to Kane with the aid of the Nexus at bragging rights. The Phenom hasn't come calling for revenge on that score. Some streak got in the way. So, if we were Kane or Wade, we'd watch our backs come October. And if you happen to hear the gong, you'll know the bell indeed tolls for V.
Oh, God, if that's not a promo for the return of The Undertaker, I'm going to get slapped with a fish and called
We'll get the other guys' thoughts on that when we come back. Meanwhile, in the break, we will be plugging the new show that is coming to Blog Talk Radio.
Now can I
this
press
Friday.
the button? Now can I press the button?
You know what? Let's have him do it right now. Let's let him do it right now.
No, when we get a break, it'll be the first advert when we go for break.
Billy said I could do it now. No, go. I can wait. I'm kidding.
All right. You're listening to WrestleDOWN, discussion of wrestling now on WGS Radio.
Hi, I'm the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, and I'm here to invite you all to WGS Radio's new show, Wrestling Dirty, with me, the Iron Reverend, the dirtiest player on Wrestler Unstoppable. That's on Friday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WGS Radio. Sponsored by the WrestleGamersShow.com. So go there and buy a damn t-shirt. And now, back to Game on the Point.
Big 3 News. Visit us on the web at big3news.net and big3news.com. To contact us during the show, use the interactive chat window or call us on Skype at 440-249-6397. That's 440-249-NEWS. Skype users use the Skype ID of Big 3 News. To make your own contribution to the show, email Big 3 News at info@big3news.net. To stay connected with us after the show, be sure to download our community toolbar and get access to all of our social links like Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and thanks for contributing to Big 3 News.
Hi, I'm Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to... Fuck. Hi, this is Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to WrestleDOWN, the discussion on wrestling now, dick. And I love to sell crack to my homies. So keep listening to WrestleDOWN and get down with WrestleDOWN. And by the way, I love my crack.
This is Team Pooch, and we are in WGS, the best running wrestling and gaming radio show ever, only on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't like anything we say or do, 1, we respect your opinion. 2, fuck you.
And 3, helps if you turn up more often. Just saying.
That I got rug burn on my penis. After what happened to his uncle Eddie Guerrero back in November. While at a nature's preserve, beware of the granny waft.
I don't combine my liquor, or else I get a, bad case of Montezuma's revenge.
And that's why we call it Wrestling Talk with an Edge. It's The Rant, live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern on Blog Talk Radio and Go Fight Live.
Hi, this is the Mexican Giant speaking right here on WGS Radio on Raw Talk Radio.
welcome back to the second half of WrestleDOWN, the discussion of Wrestling Now, here on WGS Radio, on WB Billy Boudreaux, and I have a latent fear of sausage.
Really, that's the best you could do is have Mexican Giant on here?
You could have said you were next in line for Stacy Keibler. God.
Next in line for... thanks for putting me in the line of fire, Ashley. Thank you. Anyway...
Better used to have a Stacy Keibler addiction than a sausage addiction, just saying.
Anyway, as we turn to Friday Night SmackDown here at the start of this hour of the show, one thing I'd like to bring up here is what we saw involving the Mark Henry situation. Wait, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. We had the new COO, Chief Operating Officer Triple H, come on, and the first thing he did was make Zack Ryder an assistant to Teddy Long. Now, Ashley, good or bad move, because one, we're actually seeing Zack Ryder on TV, but, are we ready to see him on TV in this kind of capacity on Friday Night SmackDown?
It's a good move because it's putting him out there, because from what I believe, he is still signed to Raw, but he is an advisor to Teddy Long on SmackDown, so of course this means he's the first real wrestler to officially be allowed on both shows, which is a little odd.
By the way, to those people in the chat room and to your listeners who want to call in, get your thoughts ready on this week's Friday Night SmackDown. If you guys in the chat room, go ahead and start posting your comments, your overall thoughts on this week's Friday Night SmackDown. We will we'll read them out loud for the sake of the podcast when we get to it.
Actually, on that, Stark messaged me saying that he had to go, but he wishes everybody a good night and everything. But yeah, it kind of makes sense because he's obviously got a follow. Oh,
Rev?
Well, no, I just want to take time to say hi to yet another listener who's not really in the chat room. My next ex-wife's daughter, Dirt. Hi, Dirt. How are you? Sure, Andy wants to say hi to Dirt too.
Also, I noticed in the chat room we've got Billy Coyle in the chat room as well.
Oh, I'm friends with Billy Coyle on Facebook.
There we go.
All right, I'm muting
now with this Zack Ryder thing, it's a positive thing as well because the other than CM Punk, I'd say the hottest thing out there from the WWE universe, given that the number of views that he gets on YouTube channel with his videos has got to be Zack Ryder and the True Long Island Story and all that. So it makes sense for him to be on both. Whether it's a good move or a bad move in the long run, we'll have to wait and see.
Now, another thing we did notice, Andy, you don't watch Friday Night SmackDown, so you didn't even see what we're about to talk about next, is now we're seeing a face turn for Sheamus. Sheamus is they're going to insert Sheamus into this storyline with Mark Henry. Now, I've said it all along, and everybody's going to have to agree with me at this point. The most effective use that Mark Henry has ever had was as a heel. He's a heel now, and now guess what? He's getting out there. He's being used properly in storylines. Yes or no? Do you guys agree with that?
I'd agree.
Yeah, I'd agree with Mark Henry needs to be a heel, but I think Sheamus is gone past his sell-by date. That's my personal opinion. I think they've tried him. He's got nowhere. It's time he moved on.
I think in that respect, Andy, he's been a heel ever since he came in the company.
And quite an effective heel at that.
Yeah, it's like with The Miz, kind of. The Miz has been heel pretty much since he came in. But now, the crowd are basically wanting him to be a face, because you look at some of the crowd reaction and they actually are cheering for him. I guess because of the whole CM Punk thing with the anti-hero. But I think it's about time for Sheamus to be made face, because I think they've run him way too ragged as the heel.
I think what Vince McMahon's trying to prove there is kids don't go in the sun because you'll get skin cancer.
Oh. Here are my thoughts about it. I mean, they have really effectively used him as a heel. You know, I will agree with what you said, actually, that they kind of been running him ragged as of late. But a face turn is a fresh thing, a fresh idea for Sheamus. Now, whether or not he can get over on the crowd and be used effectively as a face, is still yet to be determined, because we still have the matchup to look forward to on Friday Night SmackDown of him and Mark Henry, which should make for a really good match between these two. And what will make this face turn effective is how well he's used, not only in this match, but how well he's used in the storyline. Because let's face it, for Mark, they're using Mark Henry at the top of the heat that he's getting. Everybody's scared of him. The fans just want to boo the crap out of him, and you could basically take anybody and have him turn face on Mark Henry. You could have The Miz go on Friday Night SmackDown and turn face on Mark Henry with the kind of heat he's getting right now. But can Sheamus be effectively used as a face? I will not really give a definitive answer on that, because only time will tell. Now, it's kind of the similar situation to when we go back to when Miz first won the WWE Championship. A lot of people, they were up in arms saying that, Miz wasn't going to make a great champion, and look at the kind of reign he had. He turned out to be a really great heel champion for the WWE. Now Sheamus, great as a face, yes. Can he be great? I'm sorry, great as a heel, yes. Can he be made great as a face? Time will tell. Time will tell. He can be used great as a face if he's willing, and if he can get over on the crowd in the right sense of it. If you guys can kind of understand where I'm going with this. If he can get over in the right sense of it in the storyline they're using him with on Mark Henry. Because I will say this right now. If they're only using him with Mark Henry in a one-match deal to try to turn him face, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. They're going to have to use a really good, developed storyline with him and Mark Henry to effectively turn Sheamus face. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, it'd certainly work. I'm just noticing, and also we got in the chat room, and Hitman said, some get to it.
Well, while you're looking at the chat room,
I like Sheamus turning face. I think he'd benefit greatly from a face turn. Go ahead, Ref.
Well, no, I say, you're looking at the chat room, and let me get something in quick, and then we'll get Andy's opinion, or whoever's. And I lost total respect for Mark Henry after the Mae Young, let's give birth to a hand thing. I don't care if he's face, heel, or the president. That's one of those things you just remember is bad. But yes, he makes a better heel. Now, the face turn with Sheamus. Now, when I saw him come out and get in there, if they work the storyline right at SummerSlam, this could be a good thing, because who doesn't want to see a white boy slap the... Oh, wait, I can't say that on the air, can I? My bad. Somebody else turn.
Well, you know what? Rev brings up a good point. Could this match go beyond what we'll see on Friday Night SmackDown, James, and head into a pay-per-view match at SummerSlam within the next couple of weeks? James?
I really have to doubt it. Hello?
All right, now we can hear you. And
okay. I really highly doubt it.
Well, WWE fan.
They will ever do something.
Well, James, your microphone keeps going in and out, in and out. I just wanted to let you know that.
The internet.
Well, Andy, now we know you don't really watch Friday Night SmackDown because you're not a big fan of it, but you are very familiar.
I noticed that in the chat room, Andy says that you're a Henry Mark, and Hitman says it's because you can relate to other big guys. I'm just quoting the chat room.
Me? No, I'm stating fact. I'm stating fact. When Mark Henry was faced, we barely saw him on Monday Night Raw or any kind of program he was on. And in fact, at one point, we kind of dubbed him the world's strongest jobber because he basically jobbed to people left and right. Now look at him as a heel. Look what he's done. He's won a pay-per-view match and, quote, taken out the Big Show, quote, taken out Kane, and he's got a tear where he's actually getting his name actually noticed again, and people are starting to, realize that, hey, he is becoming quite the commodity on Friday Night SmackDown. I am not a Henry Mark, and I'm not a Mark, period. I kind of take an offensive term to Mark. I'm a wrestling enthusiast. Be sure you guys get that correct. I am not a Mark. I am a wrestling enthusiast. We all are.
Yeah, and at times we're all the biggest marks in the world. We get over-enthused. But it's all good.
But, now, Andy, back to what we were saying. Now, we know you're very familiar with Sheamus' character and, what he's done as a heel. Now, this face turn that they're trying to do with him in the Mark Henry storyline, if effectively used, can he get over effectively as a face in the WWE?
Mark Henry has always been a heel, or always should have been a heel. I can't see the point now that they've taken him from a face to a heel, because it seems to me as though his career's on a downward spiral and he's on his last legs anyway. So it seems pointless wasting all this time on building up something within the next 12 months. I can see Mark Henry hanging up his boots and jacking it all in. Sheamus, same thing. They've pushed him loads and loads of times, and he's ran with the ball for a while and then dropped it. I just don't think he's WWE material. I'm sorry, but I don't know what the other guys feel, but I just don't think he is star quality material at all. Don't think he's ever been. He hasn't got the look about him. There's just something about the guy. He might have the wrestling ability, but who does he appeal to? I mean, he's not even an attractive bloke, so he can't even get appeal from females.
Well, if they turn him face in the right way, would that appeal be there?
No. Do you ever see any Sheamus good things, posters held up in the arena? I don't. They're all basically slated him off because he's got ginger hair and he's pale skinned. So is he the sticker boy, the poster boy, the page 3 pin-up in the WWE magazines? I think not. I think his days are numbered. I think they're pushing him out. I really do. If Mark Henry steal the limelight, who's basically at the end of his career, I think it's good night, Sheamus. I really do.
Well, admittedly, we've got to see how this gimmick works, and, hint, hint, you may be something regarding the Henry Sheamus situation at the pay-per-view, which may be announced very early on SmackDown on Friday. Hint, hint.
As long as they don't come out to the theme tune, it doesn't matter if it's black or white, I'm happy.
Wow.
Ebony and Ivory.
Announcement made on Friday Night SmackDown this past week at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight title. It's going to be Christian and Randy Orton in the No Holds Barred match. Actually, you have a related story when it comes to pay-per-view matches for Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, reportedly, according to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, next month, at Night of Champions, the pay-per-view is going to be, for SmackDown, headlined by Christian and Orton, which means for 5 straight pay-per-views in 5 months, or 4 months technically, you're going to be seeing the same match 5 times in a row, which I think is way too much overkill. 3, perhaps 4, possibly at the most, but 5?
Do you think they could be possibly looking back at TNA and seeing what they did with Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett and think, hey, that was a great thing, let's see if we can do it like that, when in actuality it really sucked?
I don't know. There is something that happens on Friday which also makes me wonder, hang on, Are you stealing that idea from Impact Wrestling as well? I won't reveal what it is, but when you see it happen, you'll start wondering, hang on, didn't I see this last night on Impact?
Nathan is back. Nathan, why do you believe that WWE is pushing Christian versus Randy Orton so much in their pay-per-views? I mean, why do you have to keep saying it the same match over and over again?
This is something you see from WWE. I mean, it's how they do the rivalries. I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, I think it's a great rivalry, but I mean, quite honestly, you see the same thing from John Cena, CM Punk. It's just the way WWE works things. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this then. With it being over 5 months, and then it keeps going on to 6 months and 7 months, does it run the risk of the storyline being too long and drawn out where fans are just not interested in the storyline anymore?
Of course. Just like with this anonymous GM, you know. When it first came out, everybody's like, oh, who's the anonymous GM? And they were kind of interested. Now, here you are over a year later, and you don't even hear the anonymous general manager on the show anymore. They've just dropped it. And, you know, it's been done in the past. It's going to happen in the future. I don't know if they're going to keep on with this one for too long, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if it did run on too long.
Well, final thought, overall thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown this week, starting with you, Ashley.
Again, average show. Not sure about this build to, you know, match at SummerSlam, but the undercard is looking alright, possibly, with the Mark Henry Sheamus. It'll be interesting to see whether Sheamus can cut it as a face in this story. Also, though, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, if not at SummerSlam, but certainly build up to Night of Champions, some kind of thing with Ezekiel Jackson and the Intercontinental title, I believe it is, on, is it the Intercontinental or is it the US on SmackDown?
Intercontinental is on SmackDown.
Yeah. Some angle between Ezekiel Jackson and, you know, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase in that sense. And also, we've also got to take into account that briefcase. I know that Daniel Bryan said, I'm going to cash it in at WrestleMania, but a few times before we have seen that briefcase put up for grabs, have we not? So I think we may be seeing, and by the looks of it, they may be, from what I saw the last week or so, they might be angling towards perhaps Wade Barrett or somebody like that, which would be interesting to see.
All right, Nathan, your overall opinion on Friday Night SmackDown this week?
It had some very interesting spots to it. I am liking the whole Sheamus face turn. We'll see how it comes, you know, later on. I don't know why the hell they're using Mark Henry for it, because quite honestly, Mark Henry is garbage, always has been garbage, and always will be garbage. Bryan Danielson is getting the push that I think he deserves, and if they were to turn it over to Wade Barrett, I think that would be a huge mistake, because I don't think Wade Barrett is as big of a talent as they tried to make him out to be. And once again, it's WWE style. They bring somebody in and they push and push and push, and they cram it down your throat, and it just, people turn out to not like them. I think they're doing things properly with Daniel Bryan. They brought him in, you know, he was a jobber for a little bit, and finally they're giving him his push, and everybody's loving it. So
I noticed in the chat room we got Billy Coyle saying WWE doesn't know how to use most of their superstars anymore. But and Hitman interjects, at least they use them better than how TNA uses some of their guys. Then Andy says that WWE tends to keep running with the ball past the touchdown line and into the next day and don't know when to stop. And again, Billy agrees and says it's already run on for too long. And then if he had to make a choice of the two out of Henry and Big Show, because Andy said that Henry and Big Show are in the company, which I can kind of see that. You know, there's only really enough room for one big guy, really, and Billy said he preferred to watch Big Show. Oh, and by the way, Hitman, in response to your Mark comments, Hitman would now like to be known as the Al Snow enthusiast if you have to be a wrestling enthusiast.
No, you're still the Al Snow, Mark, because you marked out on Al Snow when he was on the show. That's what I'm going to say about that. Ain't nothing going to change that, buddy. You marked out on Al Snow when he was on the show.
Speaking of marking out, I think Rev might be marking out, because I believe his partner in crime might be on the line.
I got to say that the one thing that I think Rocket said earlier that, you know, really had, in my opinion, any sort of, you know, good point to it was the fact that people want to see more characters. I mean, they want to see things like the Blue Blazer and the Undertaker, you know, those types of things. And WWE doesn't do that much anymore. And I think that's part of the reason why it sucks so much is because back in the day, the whole reason why they had such big stars and you know, such monumental crowds was because they had those characters. They knew exactly what to do with them. Now, they don't do that anymore. I've seen WWE going downhill for years now. So,
yeah,
until they start getting some characters. But on the flip side, I haven't found many indie characters out there that are any good. I think that the whole Crimson Joker thing could go somewhere, but then again, TNA stole it and they did it in a freaking bad way, and I think that's the kind of thing that WWE's afraid of.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I ambushed this guy with the worst chair shot in history. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Nick Bondage. Mr. Bondage, how you doing tonight?
Just fine. Ashley, Andy, Billy, I can't believe you hit me with a chair. My brother from another mother, Rev Jake, yes, that is a pickle in my pocket. Al Snow, Mark, how are you?
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see what me and Nick Bondage are talking about, head over to youtube.com/WrestleGamer right now and check out Double B's chair shot video.
Can I sing Nick the song now?
Oh no!
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold it, Rev Jake, hold it. I got a comment to make about the discussion you guys were just on. In everybody's opinion, I mean, do you guys like those yesteryear characters, so to speak? You know, those big comic book like characters, or do you prefer the more individualistic type characters that you see now, guys like Daniel Bryan and you know, who's somebody else, you know, the use your real name kind of guys?
It all depends on how today's wrestling fan has evolved, I would think, in my opinion, because, you know, it was certain at one point in period, you know, in those yesteryears that, yeah, you know, the outlandish characters out there like the Blue Blazer or the Gobbledygooker, and no, I'm not naming a sexual move anyway. Anyway, yeah, that I know of.
I think WWE tried to bring that back with you know, the Boogeyman, to see how well that type of character would get over, I guess, in today's genre. But you know, he didn't really have any wrestling ability, you know, which thank him, you know.
Things like you know, the Blue Blazer and those more comic book character ones.
When I say comic book characters, I don't necessarily mean those really outlandish characters that they had. I mean, guys like, you know, the Stone Cold Steve Austins and the Rocks. I mean, those were larger than life characters. Do you guys think that those type of characters would exist in today's wrestling world as well as they did back then?
I think they would. I think they would, and that's because, like, I mean, the whole reason why Stone Cold was such a big success in WWE versus WCW was because he took on that character of the anti-hero, the guy who hates his boss, and, you know, would say things to Vince that people wanted to go in and say to their boss. And you know, nowadays, I think they've tried to make it a little too real. They're saying, yes, it's entertainment, it's fake. You know, we're trained professionals, and we do this to entertain you guys, but at the same time, you should believe everything because these characters are so real, you know, what to do. And I think people are just, you know, they're kind of like, well, this doesn't make any sense because, I mean, how are you going to take something that is supposed to be real and put it in a world that is supposed to be imagination? And, you know, that's why I think people long for the Ric Flairs and the Hulk Hogans and the Andre the Giants and, you know, those kinds of things.
Yeah. So you're saying that the $1 million man, Ted DiBiase, and your Papa Shangos would do well in today's genre?
I think they would. I really think they would. I think that Ted DiBiase Jr. would do a hell of a lot better if he was able to come up with a character, not so much like the $1 Million Man where they gave him Virgil and then, you know, eventually Maurice, but if they gave him something like that, you know, where he could come up with a character that people would, you know, they would want to go, oh, I want to be that guy. I mean, how many of us look at John Cena and be like, oh, I want to be that guy. I want to be the white guy who goes on there and talks about dumb stuff and ass out of himself. You know, I think they're really going sort of back in the right direction with the CM Punk thing.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think that the whole role model aspect of it has been taken out, you know, because a lot of these guys back in the day, you know, when the big superstars were in fact role models as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, your Kevin Von Erichs and Hulk Hogan's. I mean, these guys were role models to you know, kids. And now you've got what, really just one role model, you know, and Cena. I mean, John Cena, and God forbid he's a role model, but you know.
Yeah, and I think really that's the biggest downfall of it. TNA is the same way because they go too over the top. You know, there's that pleasant middle ground that we used to have back in the day.
Yeah, it's either one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
And no common ground. Okay. All right.
They used to have outlandish characters. They used to have a lot of masked guys. You know, guys like, you know, Suicide. They also had guys like Curry Man, and so on and so forth. I believe TNA tried to tread that ground ever so lightly a few years ago, and for some reason, I guess it really just didn't pan out.
And you know, to me, Billy, those guys were entertaining. Because that's really when I watch TNA the most, is when characters like that, you know, what's his name, the Machismo guy, you know, him.
Oh, Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Jay Lethal, and you know, and Curry Man and Shark Boy and P.D. Williams and Eric Young when he was doing his stupid Eugene character. You know, those
still doing it.
Were entertaining. Oh, is he? Okay. Well, those characters were entertaining, and they made me want to tune in to see them.
Well, it's only because you're biased.
Last week, Eric Young went for acting lessons and stripped naked.
No, see, Nick
He's
is
still
just...
crazy.
I think the reason...
No, Nick is just biased. Nick likes little tiny guys that wear masks. He feels a little special bondage towards them. I'm sorry, Andy, go ahead.
I think the reason why... Sorry, carry on, Nick.
It's like a bad porn from the Lollipop Guild, you know?
Hang on.
I think the reason why... Yeah, I think the reason why wrestling's suffering, if you look at the likes of Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, all the people who've made it big in the company, yeah, they might have been heels at one time and faces, but they've made it either as a heel or a face, and then they've carried that persona all the way through the rest of the career. WWE and Impact at the moment are chopping and changing. We've just been talking 10 or 15 minutes about changing Mark Henry from a face to a heel, and so on and so forth. We all know Mark Henry should be a heel. Why do they keep chopping and changing him? If they keep chopping and changing, people lose interest, people lose the character, what the character's supposed to be, and they ruin his career.
But see, that's not always true. I mean, once again, you have to have the right talent to be able to pull that off. I don't think Mark Henry does, because if you take a look, CM Punk was one of the biggest faces in the company. Then he joined the Nexus, became the biggest heel in the company. Now he's more of a Stone Cold Steve Austin, kind of a tweener type thing, and he's got the talent to be able to pull it off. Mark Henry, like I said, I mean, he's always been garbage from day one. They brought in this guy who's just massively huge. He has no talent.
I can correct you real quick. CM was not a face when he joined Nexus. He was a heel, especially when he was on commentary as well.
Yeah, but see, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, he just skyrocketed because at the time, before he joined the Nexus, the biggest heel the company had was The Miz. And then when CM Punk joined the Nexus, he shot past The Miz. I mean, yeah, he started out that heel persona when he went for the title from Jeff Hardy. But I mean, it skyrocketed when he took over the Nexus. I think he was a lot better heel in the Nexus than he was with that Straight Edge Society. And, but like I said, I mean, now they've flip-flopped him back to being more
Can you hear me, Nick?
of the face type character.
Are you?
Well, guys, before we go any further, let's bring Rev and Nick back in because they're in call screening. Guys,
hello.
All right, bring both the guys back in. Now, before we go further, Rev has a song he wants to sing to Nick Bondage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to Louisiana, gonna go and play. Tell GCW the Odd Reverend's on the way. Homicide Incorporated, we're gonna kick some ass. And Nick Bondage will make some rules real fast. Homicide Incorporated.
I love it.
Oh, interesting bit.
You might want to watch out, though, Rev, because Nick might tie you up.
Oh, gosh.
Interesting bit in the chat room, which I think warrants this.
Oh, no.
Ministry of Darkness has posted breaking news. Vince McMahon wasn't given a farewell lap dance on Big Dick Johnson. Hitman has, however, added that he was given one. He did give one for Billy Boudreaux, and he also got a happy ending.
Oh, no.
I'm disgusted yet complimented.
Oh.
It's funny because I actually have a little jingle myself.
Oh, dear.
Thought of this one actually to pay homage to our guest 2-3 weeks ago, Buff Bagwell. That's when he goes for Billy. You know how they say Buff, he's the stuff and the girls can't get enough?
Yeah.
Well, Billy, you're silly, and none of the girls have ever seen you really.
Oh, my God.
Oh, and Nick, while you're here, I tried to screen the call because I wanted to ask you this off the air. If I can ask you on the air, hey, you want to get drunk and shit in Bagwell's hat?
Oh, my God.
And turn the bunny.
Get back to asking everybody about SmackDown.
I think we lost total control on that aspect here. I think we left off with WWE fan. WWE fan, your overall opinion on Friday Night SmackDown this week?
It was a good show.
And I know Andy doesn't watch it. Nathan, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown this week? Or did I go to you already?
I think. I don't know.
Guys, I have to cut out. I'm sorry. I just want to stop by real quick and give everybody a holler, but I'm still at work, and I've got my hands full right now. So
okay.
All right.
Thank you all. Thank you much.
Nick, am I still in trouble?
Oh, no.
Are you still in trouble? Oh, you maybe you are. Maybe you're not.
Nick, real quick. It's Billy's birthday Saturday, so it's time to invest in that hooker.
Take
I
care.
can see a rematch coming as well. I think it should be mask versus shirt.
Oh my God!
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Electric Boogaloo.
No, you know what's really going to happen?
Wait, what?
Say that again, Rev.
You're going to pull another cheap chair shot on my tag team partner. You are. And all of a sudden, you're not going to see it coming, and I'm going to knock you out with a chair.
Oh. Billy's got to be prepared for his chair shot from Rev.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll go out and get ice cream afterwards.
Oh my God.
Now, on to Monday Night Raw. And
they
of course,
make you buy a Slurpee and drink it as fast as you can.
Vodka Slurpee?
Okay,
don't
bye,
give him
everybody.
ideas. Don't give him ideas. Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick. I love you.
Bye, Nick.
Now on to the topic of hand on Monday Night Raw, which seems to be dominating the wrestling radio waves, the dirt sheets, and everything. This the CM. No, we're not talking about Beth Phoenix. And actually, you have an unhealthy obsession with Beth Phoenix. I don't know why. But anyway,
No, isn't this weird? CM Punk gets a huge push, and his current partner, Beth Phoenix, suddenly becomes #1 contender for the Divas title. Nice move, CM Punk. I like it.
Not only that, but they also made her turn heel. Is it safe to say that the same situation involved with other superstars like Mark Henry and such, used more effectively as a heel as a face? Would that also apply to Beth Phoenix?
You'll probably find out. Beth was always good as the Glamazon. She was hated, but now it's like hate has become the new love. Because everybody hated CM Punk, and as soon as he hit his shooting, it was like, oh, we love him, or whatever, and everybody was over him like, Stacy Keibler over Swarfiga or something like that.
Oh my God!
And Andy, I want to direct this question to you, Andy, as I do believe that we are being joined by Chris Rogers from Rocket Waves 11294. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I actually made it to the show tonight.
Yay!
Not Steve Rogers from Captain America.
Yeah.
And
I pulled
Chris,
away from my diarrhea to be here.
You pulled away. Okay. And
Captain America's got diarrhea.
Yeah, it's a growing epidemic. Damn it, Jack.
What was your question for Andy?
Well, I was going to go to Andy, but since Chris is here, I'm going to start with Chris first and then go to Andy for it. We had a tag team match on Monday Night Raw with Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga, the tag team champions, taking on Santino Marella and Zack Ryder. First off, where the hell is Vladimir Kozlov? Actually, first part, I'm going to point that to you first. I mean, has Vladimir Kozlov been let go from the company? I mean, we haven't seen hide nor hair of him, nor a report if he's been injured or not.
He's injured. He got injured recently.
Really?
You'll either see on Superstars tomorrow or on SmackDown on Friday. That's all I'm saying. Go back to Chris.
All right.
Screw
now,
me.
Chris,
You said you'd go to Chris and Andy, not me.
Yeah, but it's the Vladimir Kozlov thing came up to mind when I noticed it's Santino Marella and Zack Ryder. Now, from what we saw in that tag team match, Chris, is it safe to say that the Nexus storyline is done and it's dead?
Finally, yeah, in my opinion, because when CM Punk did his say, I'm going away from the company, I decided to come back. I think that pretty much killed Nexus and all that mess. So finally, I think we're free from all them Nexus wankers.
Nexus deserve to be killed off, though. Go ahead, Andy. Your fault.
Amen.
Well, I want to ask Andy this. We had another match. It was Miz and R-Truth taking on Rey Mysterio and the returning John Morrison. Now, from an objective standpoint, Andy, for his first match back in a few months after having, I believe it was a pinched nerve in his neck, how did John Morrison, performance-wise, look to you with his first match back?
I don't think his match was too bad, to be honest. I don't know how bad his injury should have been, but he seemed to cope with it quite well. But I think they should have put the match next week in the pay-per-view, not so much when they did have the match. I think they should have dragged it out for then.
Now, Chris, I'm coming back to you with this part because you're just getting here and you haven't had a chance to voice your opinion a lot on a lot of things. Another thing that we saw on Monday Night Raw is an apparent rivalry, a feud starting over the United States title involving Dolph. I got a tiny dick that jiggles sideways, so I have to date Vicky Guerrero, Ziggler, and Alex Riley. Now, what? In your honest opinion, one, is Alex Riley ready for this kind of a push? And two, again, this is your honest opinion, Chris. Does this have the makings of a great feud over the United States title?
Definitely a great feud. That was actually very interesting to watch and, see. Alex Riley, I think, is ready for this push because he's been, hiding. He's actually, if you think about it though, he's actually been getting pushed, when he was The Miz's apprentice or whatever. And so, but since then, when he started to be with The Miz, he got a little push. So I'm thinking, he's going to move up very high in the company, and I think he's ready for the United States title. It's only a matter of time before he gets a title.
And Chris, just to let you know, Gohan hasn't called in yet. I don't know why.
Well, I think that makes the show better. Sorry, but
also Ministry makes a good point. Although it's slightly old, he keeps saying put the T-shirt on the line. We already did that. We already did that.
Wasn't that like 2 weeks ago?
We might do it again when it's really freezing at TLC.
Oh God.
God,
no, I don't want to see Billy's nipples in winter.
Yeah, Ashley wants to see my frozen erect nipples.
Don't worry. For all sausage fans, we'll cover them over with pieces of salami.
Just be quiet now, Ashley. I don't want nightmares tonight. I don't want nightmares.
I think WWE fans are about to die. Anyway, Ashley, to you,
Attention all callers. We have created an instant clusterfuck. Take your cheat shots when it's your turn.
Anyway, actually, the announcement was made on Monday Night Raw by the new COO, Chief Operating Officer, Triple H, that at SummerSlam, we're going to have WWE Champion versus WWE Champion. We're going to have CM Punk versus John Cena. How predictable was that decision?
Very predictable, to be honest.
We knew that last week when CM Punk showed up on the show. And to make things worse, they wait until the end of the show to do a 20-minute segment that made little sense to announce what we already knew, and then to have a pose-off when, quite honestly, for one, it should have got physical, and for two, there was somebody I think that had a great idea. Fuck it, strip them both of the title, make them fight for it at SummerSlam. Don't say, oh, you're both WWE champions, so we can say that this is the first time it's been a legitimate WWE champion versus a legitimate WWE champion, not, champion versus interim champion. I think it was way too predictable, like I said. We knew it the week they went off air, the week prior, and then they just waited too long to announce it, took too long to announce it, and then just ended it crappily with a pose down. So,
Chris, I got to go back to you, Chris. With this championship match happening at SummerSlam, what are the chances of seeing Alberto Del Cuifo? I'll say it again, Alberto Del Cuifo. I'll say it one more time. You know what? I won't see it. WWE fan will see it.
Alberto Del Cuifo.
We seriously need to put that Cuifo thing to sleep. I think we might have run too much with that.
Anyway,
keep talking about Queef and running. I hope this isn't putting you off, Chris.
Anyway, Chris, what are the chances of seeing at SummerSlam, after the match is over, Del Cuifo cashing in his Money in the Bank contract?
It depends on how hurt the the new champion is. I mean, because if you look at years past, every time that a champion is hurt in some way, then you see the Money in the Bank person running their little ass down to the ring and cash it in. But as soon as they get up and start fighting, they're like, no, I want it back. So I think as long as whoever the champion is, I have a feeling if it's John Cena that is the champion, I don't really see Alberto Del Quifo trying to cash in, because Cena, he can come back from something real quick. But if it's CM Punk, I would think that he would cash it in. So
Hitman brings up an interesting point in the chat room. Well, Billy, at least Alberto Del Quifo can swing a chair.
Oh
my God!
And you know what? I'm going to agree with him.
I also have to point out that, Billy, you tricked WWE fan into saying a dirty word live on the radio show. Way to go.
Oh, my God. Anyway, Rev, since I got you here, based on how boring and how uninteresting the tag team title match was with Michael McGillicuddy, David Otunga, and Santino Marella and Zack Ryder, when will WWE either revitalize the tag team division or just fucking kill it?
I'm glad to see the Usos are getting another push, and they're kind of revamping them with that Samoan tribal music and dance.
I agree.
I would actually like to see who's one of their living uncles, Rikishi?
Yes. Yeah.
I would like to see Rikishi come out as their manager and kind of go for that hardcore Samoan SWAT team image again. Still call them the Usos, but just make them raging wild Samoans with like Rikishi in the corner. I think that would be a good push for them.
Quick caveat: they are not Rikishi's nephews; they are his twin sons.
Can I just interject something, guys?
Yes, please.
Yeah, if you guys want to take a look into the chat room, Billy's had some new photos taken for the WGS contest. If you'd like to take a look on that link and give us your opinion. Thank you.
Here. Andy, I am going to kill you. Not just kill you, kill you.
But Billy, you have to admit they are quite good photographs.
They're the best.
Oh God.
All right, final rundown on Monday Night Raw. We had the opening segment with CM Punk and Triple H. Beth Phoenix winning the Battle Royal. They become the new #1 contender for the Divas title. Miz and R-Truth defeated John Morrison and Rey Mysterio. Then we had the segment involving Dolph Ziggler and Alex Riley. Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga, the tag team champions, defeated Santino Marella and Zack Ryder in an uninteresting match. Alberto Del Rio defeated Evan Bourne. And then we had Triple H's announcement of the WWE Championship. Match of the night, I'm going to say it right now, guys. It's Miz and R-Truth with John Morrison and Rey Mysterio. I mean, Michael McGillicuddy and David Otunga, Santino Marella and Zack Ryder, I really couldn't give it two shits about that match because it was just completely uninteresting, which is why I asked Rev, when are they going to revitalize the tag team division or just fucking kill it? They have a chance to revitalize it with the Usos, like he said, because I agree with 100% with what Rev said. I mean, I do love the fact that they're revitalizing the Usos with the Samoan gimmick, especially I love that dance they do. It really adds, more character into their gimmick. But the way they're going right now, the WWE's tag team division is, if it doesn't change soon, it's going to die. And it's going to go the way of the cruiserweight division in the WWE. It's going to be killed off, and we might see tag team wrestling every now and again, but we will not see a definitive tag team division like we don't already have one in the WWE already, because we don't. We don't have a definitive tag team division in the WWE. Alberto Del Rio and Evan Bourne, I'm going to have to give it a close second. And will I even look at the Divas Battle Royal? Hell no. Hell no. And it was a good look. Hell yeah. But entertainment-wise, can it really stand up there with the other matches in such a low-ranked card as they did on Monday Night Raw? No. So my match of the night is Miz and R-Truth with John Morrison and Rey Mysterio. Ashley, overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week?
Overall, pretty good show, although it had the inevitable CM Punk, you know, unification, undisputed title thing. But the opening promo with Punk and Triple H was honestly very good. I liked how the chemistry worked there. And, you know, the little, you know, subtle bits like Punk giving the Helmsley bow and, you know, cut the music, you know. I'm a fan of Motorhead, but enough of that. Just lovely little bits like that. Match of the night, I'd have to agree with Truth Miz taking on Mysterio and Morrison. Moment, Beth Phoenix turning heel. Because, to be honest, she's the closest thing the company has to Karma. And given that Karma's out with her pregnancy at the moment, you might as well fill the gap with a powerful wrestler like Beth and possibly another powerful wrestler on SmackDown. Who that is, just be thankful it isn't Tamina. Just saying.
Oh, God. Let's go to Chris. Chris, your overall opinion on Monday Night Raw this week?
Monday Night Raw, I will say the beginning, CM Punk ranting off his tits for the first 20 minutes was 20 minutes I can't get back. But the rest of the show, Beth Phoenix turning heel, kind of expected it. And the match of the night, I will agree with you, is the R-Truth and The Miz versus Rey Mysterio and John Morrison, because the rest of the matches were complete shit. And a main event being a talking to was just a slap to the balls. It was just a bad night for Raw, except for the John Morrison match.
All right, let's go to Nathan. Nathan, your overall opinion on Monday Night Raw this week?
It was a huge disappointment. I mean, of course, everybody's going to go with the Morrison Mysterio versus Truth. And, yeah, I can't even think. Truth and Miz. Because, I mean, honestly, it was the only real match I had that night. And, of course, it's an even bigger disappointment for that whole talking to thing to happen. I mean, and then to make things worse is you got to think that it doesn't matter who wins the match. It's kind of like you don't even have your number one contender, because whoever wins the match, the other person is automatically going to get their rematch. Blah 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 blah. Dude, fuck it. I mean, the whole show was just disappointing to me.
All right, let's go to Rev Jake. Rev Jake, your overall opinion on Monday Night Raw this week?
Well, I did look at that photo Andy just posted, and it was said, I am no longer taking part in these shenanigans, but fuck, that was funny. I laughed so hard I had to try inhaler again.
Oh my God!
Andy, I'm gonna hunt you down with a pig and a baseball bat.
Okay, but my thoughts on Monday Night Raw: which is worse, Ashley's obsession with Beth Phoenix, or my obsession with Beth Phoenix soiled panties? You know, so you gotta cut Ashley some slack there.
And spit out my Gatorade.
But really quickly, I do have to say that, Andy, that picture was taken in the wrong setting, because this is Billy we're talking about. It should not have been taken in the bedroom. It should have been taken in the kitchen.
But, well, Billy, just real quick, and I'm done until we wrap it up. You said Gatorade. You spit out Gatorade?
Nearly.
Our new friend in the chat room, Pegsy Wegsy, that's Pegasus 0431475. The other night, Andy and I made her laugh so hard, milk came out her ass.
Ministry as well puts in the chat room, Andy, if you want this to be a last show, turn Billy into Jabba the Hutt.
Told you, Rev, that wasn't milk that shot out her ass.
Ashley, my only response to that chat room, fuck you. Anyway, let's get on here before we totally lose control in the final minutes here on this week's show. WWE fan, your final thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week?
Okay, match of the night was the R-Truth thing, and 2 complaints. Why in the world was the Divas match in a commercial break with Final 4 or 3 Divas? And I did like the way Beth Phoenix hoisted both of the Bella twins on both sides of her arms and threw her on the ground. And the second complaint was...
All right, let's give James another... Well, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the second complaint was the, why in the world did they put the voting for CM Punk and John Cena? I didn't vote for it because I knew what the results was going to be.
Yeah. Everybody was going to go for John Cena because, again, he's WWE's poster boy. Let's give James another run-through. James, have you been able to fix your mic problem?
I take that as a no.
I think I'd have to agree with that. Andy, James, I know you're giving it your all, but we're just not hearing you for some reason. I don't know if it's your connectivity or if it's your microphone. I don't know what it is, but anyway, Andy, what is your overall opinion on Monday Night Raw this week?
I didn't think it was too bad a show. I'm flabbergasted in the fact that they're taking the Michael out of people's mental capacity, I suppose the word is. I mean, that's the wrong word, but it sounds good. It sounds intelligent. With the match that we all knew was going to happen, CM Punk against John Cena. At the end of the day, as far as I can see this now, correct me if I'm wrong, John Cena lost to CM Punk. CM Punk walked away with the official WWE Championship. Unbeknownst to us, supposedly, he signs a new deal with Triple H and comes back as the champion. So John Cena should throw that belt away because it don't mean dirt.
I think the spinner belt in general doesn't mean dirt. But anyway, it's time for final thoughts of the week.
When we talk dirt, are we talking about the, like...
Dog.
Not the stuff you find in the yard.
No. No, I'm talking about... We're talking about Rev's friends.
SH1T.
No, when you said dirt, we weren't sure whether you were talking about doesn't mean dirt, or were you talking about dirt and sidewalk talk?
something like that. Something like that.
It doesn't mean Jack, because
like
really the champion's not left the company. The champion hasn't left the company, so why are we left with two championship belts? So really, they should take that belt off Cena and carry on with CM Punk as the champion and save us the bullshit main event that we're going to have in a week, just over a week's time, is it?
Yeah.
An event we don't need to see. We've already seen it once. Seen a lot.
All right. Well, it's time for everybody's final thoughts of the week, starting with the Studley Man, Ashley.
Overall, certainly a mixed bag of a week. Obviously, this Sunday we've got a pay-per-view coming. Some of the matches on there look interesting. Some of them look like they were thinking, okay, we need to put a pay-per-view card. The main event, I think I know what's going to happen, but I'll leave to tell that till Sunday because it's way planning ahead, and that's normally something that Impact and TNA doesn't do. But yeah, hopefully we're going to get a better week. SmackDown looks promising this week. Impact I can't remember because they taped it a week and a half ago, so I don't remember. But hopefully Raw can be a strong show because, of course, this coming Raw is the go-home show before SummerSlam time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you on the live stream to hear the rest of everyone's final thoughts of the week, be sure you tune into the archive right here on Blog Talk Radio or listen in on YouTube. As we now go to Nathan with his final thoughts of the week.
Oh, Nathan went away.
No, I'm here. Nathan's on.
Unfortunately, you're
Nathan,
here?
Yeah, Nathan is here.
Oh, Nathan's back.
Nathan, your final thoughts of the week, please.
It's kind of hard to sum it up because, I mean, everything was kind of up and down. You had SmackDown was good. Raw was crap. TNA was, well, it was TNA. It's kind of hard to sum it up because everything was just kind of mixed in with, it kind of leaves it like, in your head.
All right, well, let's go to Chris now. Chris, your final thoughts of the week, please.
There was a man from Austin. He owned an American Boston. He had room for his ass and a gallon of gas, and his balls fell out, and he lost it.
How long are you waiting to do that?
About a few weeks. That's all I could think of, actually.
Well, let's go to the CEO of Homicide Incorporated, the Iron Reverend Jake Slater, and get his final thoughts of the week.
All right, my final thoughts of the week. Let me think. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hi, I'm the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, and I'm here to invite you all to WGS Radio's new show, Wrestling Dirty, with me, the Iron Reverend, the dirtiest player on Wrestler Unstoppable. That's on Friday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WGS Radio. Sponsored by the WrestleGamersShow.com. So go there and buy a damn t-shirt. And now, back to Game Up.
WrestleDOWN.
WrestleDOWN. I'm sorry, my thought of the week was a shameless self-promotion.
That's fair. Should be an interesting show when it's on Friday.
Yes, it is. Be sure you tune in right here to blogtalkradio.com/WGS Radio for Rev's new show, Wrestling Dirty, this Friday night. As we turn to WWE Fan and get his final thoughts of the week.
Been a good week. Can't wait for this week.
WWE Fan, is it safe to say that, do you wrestle dirty?
No.
I think Fenwick wrestles dirty.
Thankful for that.
But I think Fenwick wrestles dirty. Anyway, James, have you absolved your microphone issues, James? And apparently not.
Take that as a no.
Anyway, let's go to Andy. Andy,
if we're talking about wrestling dirty, does it involve this?
Well, actually...
I don't know, Andy.
Billy takes his shirt off.
Actually, on our new show on Friday night, my soon-to-be co-host is a WGS's very own Hitman, who wrestles on Wrestler Unstoppable under the name Jeremy Vendetta, one of my young rising proteges on Wrestler Unstoppable. It's the Hitman, Jeremy Vendetta.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is this Friday night, the premiere of Wrestling Dirty, only here on WGS Radio.
What time is it, Rev, for the people?
That's what I say. Somebody's going to have to remind me what time and day it is, because I smoked a lot of weed and forgot already.
3 p.m.
11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 4 in the morning for the UK, so I might have to catch that on the archive, because that might be a bit too late for me. But, yeah, it'll be there.
As we turn to Andy and get his final thoughts of the week.
Just one word, I'll keep it short, predictable.
I thought you were going to say photograph.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, that sadly brings us to the end of another WrestleDOWN, the discussion of wrestling. Now I'd like to thank everybody for joining me this week. The Studley Man, Ashley, Nathan, Chris, the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, WWE Fan, James, even though he had microphone issues. Thank you for still coming by. Andy, who I am going to kill when I get a chance.
And also appearances from Nick Bondage, Trucker Jones, and
The Rocket.
Well, I say The Rocket, but wow.
For some reason took offense to apparently the topic we're talking about, Vince McMahon not knowing how to properly use his guys. I have no idea why. But anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be Billy Boudreaux saying, worship the ground Chuck Norris walks on, or Fenwick the Mouse will run up your ass and hide in there for the rest of your life. I just asked Chris. He's suffering from that affliction right now.
Yeah, the diarrhea from Zaxby's is killing me.
And Fenwick. So, good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to... Fuck. Hi, this is Fenwick Mouse, and you're listening to WrestleDOWN, the discussion on wrestling now, dick. And I love to sell crack to my homies. So keep listening to WrestleDOWN and get down with WrestleDOWN. And by the way, I love my crack.
as I load up my sausage cannon for Andy, I'd like to remind everybody that WGS Radio has been brought to you by www.thewrestlegamershow.com and also brought to you by a new sponsor, Nick Bondage Air Fresheners. Guaranteed to get rid of that mouth-smelling diarrhea smell out of your bathroom within 3 minutes, or you will receive a free chair shot in your anus. That's Nick Bondage Air Fresheners.
Right. Final thoughts. Just for clarification, what did you say you were doing with a cannon, Billy?
Firing widgets.
Between Andy and my padre.
No, but you're loading it up and firing it off.
Yes.
Okay. My final thoughts are what the fuck? Billy, you're shooting at the wrong guy! Aim higher, something!
I'm trying, I can't!